What people, I am the JIGGIEST, but on this channel, I'm only a little jiggy, you feel me? Welcome to episode numero 6 of my AOTW. Guaranteed seat at the next group podcast if you can guess what language that was, because it's quite possible that I don't even know myself. Anyhow, we're getting straight into it today. My advice of the week is to stop complaining about contracts. And for the most part, I'm talking about artists, musicians, that's where you see it the most. You know, release me from my contract, yada yada. And it's been going on for years, even before I was born. And my problem isn't with them back in the day. You know, record labels and music companies, they take the absolute piss. They want to take all the royalties, all the rights away from you, all your freedom, put you basically on a slave contract, and then have you stuck in it for years and years whilst they try and recoup all the money that they spent on you, whether that's through advances or pushing your songs, your albums, whatever it is. But here, now, in 2022, young people, for the most part, it's young people, are still complaining about contracts that they chose to sign. Now, don't get me wrong. I've never been in a position to sign a lucrative contract myself. Hopefully one day, you know, we'll see how the music thing pans out. But I understand if you're young, you know, you're naive, you make mistakes, etc. But like, come on, we're talking about tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of pounds. And for the most part, that's what I believe these young artists, young musicians don't understand, is that the advance is just a loan that they have to pay back. And that's why they give up so much of the percentage of their future sales and stuff, because you're getting the money now. It's not like what's it called in football when you sign someone who's out of contract, a sign-on fee, something like that. You get a big lump of money as soon as you sign the contract, and then you make more throughout it. It's not that. It's a loan. You got to pay that back. They're investing in you. They're showing you how much they trust your money, your music will make, and how much they will recoup and then obviously profit from. And that's where you're selling the rights and the freedom that you have. And even as a 15-year-old, when I was seeing Lil Uzi, Rich the Kid, Lil Wayne, big artists complain about it, I took that on board straight and I said, oh my gosh, I will never put myself in that position. I'm getting as many people as I can to read a contract that I'm offered before I even think about picking up a pen. And for the most part, to be fair, it seems like it's always Americans. American kids just going, oh, release me, free me from my contract. I can't remember who it was the latest person that I saw, but I think you're a fucking idiot. I don't care how young you were when you signed that contract, but you chose to sign it. And now you're suffering from it. But don't publicly complain or complain about the person that asked you to sign the contract, because they never made you. They just asked you. And you're choosing to cuss them off and put dirt on their name. And don't get me wrong, these lot, I can see it from a mile away. Of course they're sneaky, like I said, record labels, etc., managers, people in that industry, they know exactly how to finesse you. But if they're doing it by the letter of the law and you chose not to check what the law is and what rights you have, I don't want to hear it. You're pissing me off. Shut the fuck up. You got to deal with the contract. You chose to sign it for however long you did. Again, bringing it back to football. Harry Kane's complaining about not being able to leave Tottenham. Mate, you signed a 6-year deal. Who the fuck does that? If you wanted to get out of there but give them a chance, sign for 3 years, 4 years. Fuck you signing for 6 years for? You know you're going to be stuck. And of course, again, think about it. Why would he sign a longer deal? Well, the likelihood is you're going to get offered more money the longer you sign for, because they want to keep you for as long as possible, keep the power of whether they sell you or keep you in their hands, not yours, so they don't have to worry about you running down your contract for as long as possible. But again, that's the sacrifice you made. You chose to be stuck in a contract for as long as possible to make as much money in your mind at the time as possible, and now you've changed your mind. I don't have a problem with people changing their minds or realizing that they're not getting treated right. that's fine, but you can't complain about it. That's the difference, because you chose to sign the contract. And as I say, I remember taking note from like huge artists, huge top of the game back in the day, you know, Drake's XO. People have always complained about working there, being treated like it's a sweatshop. You know, they just throw the artists in the booth and they don't let them out for hours until they come up with a banger. Rumors, allegedly, I don't know, I've never been there. But again, people come out and they complain, and they do it publicly. And as I say, the first people to do it back in the day before I was born, Calm. They were the first people to expose the industry for how scammy, how shitty, how slimy the people at the top are, because they just want to squeeze as much money out of you as possible. But as I say, in 2022, late teens, early 20s, rappers, singers, you're complaining about signing contracts. Are you for real? After you've seen how many people complain about contracts. I think Rich the Kid was complaining about his contract with like Interscope or something. I could probably fact check that, but we don't really do research here on the Little Jiggy channel, so you have to deal with it. And then who was it? It was Famous Dex, who was then complaining about signing on to Rich the Kid's label. And you're thinking, you're signing on for someone or to someone that has literally complained about contracts, and you don't think to check his contracts. And again, it's not really the artists themselves, it's the lawyers, it's the labels behind it, it's the people behind the scenes. You don't see the faces of the people that are causing these problems, very rarely. However, of course, the artists are the face of it, and it's usually just the artist against a massive company. And these massive companies who've been going for decades, because it's the same companies when you look at Sony, Virgin, all of them, it was the same ones causing problems for the artists, you know, as I say, way before I was born. And yet no one thinks, you know what, let me invest in a proper lawyer. Let me invest in a proper manager. People that can go through these contracts, read them out to me and go, this is what you're signing up for. If you're not sure, don't sign it. But again, it comes down to the money. They're probably being offered, the artists are probably being offered huge amounts of money, the likes of which they've probably never seen before and maybe never will, just for their 5 seconds or five minutes of fame. I think I messed that phrase up. And then they get stuck because as I'll say for the last time, you sell your rights away and you sell your freedom just for a bit of cash up front. And as I say, I have no problem with people realizing after the fact that the contract is shit and changing their mind. What I have a problem with is you complaining about it when you had the opportunity to not sign it in the first place. I just hope any aspiring artists that might listen to this, or footballers, or anyone, even if you just want a normal job, when you're signing the contract, the contract of employment, read it, because I don't want y'all to be on my timeline complaining about it, because I will have no sympathy for you. Just suck it up until the end of the contract, and then I'll be right behind you when it comes to exposing the fraudulent behavior. Well, that sounded weird. When it comes to exposing the fraudulent behavior of those employers, the people that wrote the contract. So God bless, and I hope y'all take my advice.